All right. So really nice idea of this workshop, which was held already a few times. So I'm a bit late. I hope to be in the upcoming editions also. This work is a bit of a work in progress, and it was done together with Chen. She's a postdoc, and unfortunately she couldn't get the visa, so I ended up having to do this myself. But I really, it's a lot of her work, and Robin Welsch, Professor at Alto. So let's get straight into the topic. So in information visualizations, some of you actually are a bit active in that field. You know that people have been trying to automate what you could call data insights. So that there is this idea of generating insights while you look at some visualizations of data. And this recently has been found, at least until the advent of large language model, has been found difficult to really make productive. And on the other hand, ChatGPT could provide some domain-related insights that maybe people were usually creating, recreating with a Google search, for example, opening many windows and trying to get a bit of context to what data I'm seeing. And so this forms a bit the background of why we started looking into this. And actually, there is quite a bit of research already at looking at how ChatGPT might compare, or large language models, let's say agent, I use ChatGPT as a handle here, but how a large language model powered agent compares to people trying to find information otherwise, for example, through a Google search. I'd like to add here a disclaimer that some companies, prominently Microsoft, but not only, are actually combining search and a conversational agent. And so this distinction, I mean, we have to see what it means in reality, but still the studies they have done, it's real data. So you can make such statements such as, in medical information, sorry, it's a beautiful water display you're having here. The medical information is, as you could also intuitively guess, it's maybe the sources are a bit more difficult with the ChatGPT, whereas more reliable with the Google search, and also not only in medical area, but people have been, of course, testing this into other areas such as programming. So what did we do? So this is an information visualization that shows CO2 emissions, and you can navigate by selecting countries, and this is a kind of a platform that we have been using in other studies as well, to study generation of insights, how people generate, share insights going through, and it's a nice web platform that you can use in crowdsourced studies. But what you can do is, of course, that you can actually have here an additional pane where you could offer either some Google search or interaction with a large language model agent. That in this case, if it's ChatGPT-4 with vision, for example, you can actually start using a bit of the context of while you're interacting with the visualization. And so you can easily not just not just give the actual data as a prompt, but also have the conversation react to interactions I'm having with the yes. And so this is the initial system prompt, means that I give the data that is included in visualization, I give it to the agent, and then basically my interaction also is part of the prompt. And for example, I select a particular year or I select a country. And this is the baseline we use with Google. Again, this was a work in progress first attempt, and so we had this simplistic view of ChatGPT and search as two separate conditions, but we are already a bit reevaluating this this idea. So what we can do, I'm checking the time. I don't know where I can see any time, but I hope I'm not left. Thank you. So just 30 seconds. Basically, with the 25 subjects, trying to have two tasks that are, in a way, here was another hypothesis we had, is that maybe if I'm trying to generate many ideas, and maybe more shallow versus, you know, really deep and very thought out insight, maybe we might see a difference between two different conditions. So that was another thing we experimented with. And in the end, in terms of finding things statistically significant, it's a bit difficult, although you can see that people spend a bit more time with the quantity task. And also the quality tasks were produced were actually scored higher, so that makes sense. This is examples of queries, so that gives a qualitative idea of what kind of interactions you have in the two. So it seems that the questions in the conversations are much more focused and directed to finding a particular thing, whereas a Google search, as you know, you maybe try, even though you have that specific question, you make it a bit more general. And yes, and then of course we analyzed a lot of qualitative and subjective feedback, as the search was thought to be much more easy to use, but the chat actually, these interactions of the context, my interactions with the visualization system, passing that to the prompt, created a bit of lag, and I think that was the reason. So I think that this study showed that this initial idea to think of search and chat as two different approaches, they are different. And however, we are a bit reconsidering how maybe to basically combine them. I think that's, and maybe then having a look at how much people interact more with search or not. And I have much more details, but we can talk about it in a moment there at the poster. Thank you very much.
Hi, really interesting research. And I wanted to ask you, I often feel like when I work with Google, that Google sort of programmed us how to ask it, right? So we were trained how to work with Google. And do you feel that with ChatGPT, it's the other way around? We feel more natural. It's sort of short like that, right?
Yeah, I have a feeling doing these studies now in several areas with this conversational agent, it seems that we're still a bit learning how to use these tools. So I don't know how much stable it is, these impressions I get with some insights, but it's like that. We learn how to ask, basically. And yeah.
Just to add to this, we are kind of adapting to how to use ChatGPT too, in some sense, right? Like, so I mean, when Google was in its nascent stage, like early 2000s, people were not so good at Google search too, for example. But now it's like we know the tricks and all the search engine optimization. Yeah, so I think it's going to be the same case with ChatGPT. Like 20 years down the line, you might actually see that it might like normalizes. So
much.